This story I'm about to share with you is actually my wife's story. She said she experienced something so creepy and so unexplained that it weirds her out to this day. My wife was working at the hospital. She's a surgeon, and she was working her 16-hour shift. She was in the middle of doing surgery on a man who was shot in the head. But unfortunately, the guy didn't make it through surgery, and he died. My wife felt really bad about this because she wanted to save him. She wanted to give him another chance at life. And she felt as a doctor, she failed. After he died, my wife sat down with the dead patient's wife, and she told him,
So sorry that we tried everything, but your husband didn't make it.
As my wife expected, the patient's wife did not take the news very well, and she sobbed uncontrollably. My wife walked it away from the wife of the deceased husband to let her grieve in peace. 7 hours had passed. It was just now 3 o'clock in the morning. As my wife was rubbing her eyes, trying her very best not to fall asleep, as she can feel the drowsiness taking over, she noticed she saw a man standing in the middle of the hallway. She thought it was a patient, so she walked over there and tried to get the patient back into their room. But as she was walking closer, this man started to seem familiar to her. And as soon as she got close to the person enough to see them, she almost wetted on herself. It was the man who she pronounced dead several hours before. She was in shock. She couldn't even muster the words of what she was going to say. She didn't even think that this was real. She thought this was all a bad dream, but then she realized this was very much real. And then she said,
How are you moving? How are you alive? I made sure that you were dead.
Then the supposedly deceased man said in a very cold, creepy, ghostly voice, My wife tried to have me killed, but it didn't work because I was still alive. But that's when you came in, who my wife wanted as a doctor for me, and you inject something in me to make sure I would die. And it worked it. My heart stopped, and I'm no longer living. And I know why both of you wanted me dead. Because my wife knows that I'm a very rich man, and she wants to claim all of my money and all of my assets. You both are some dirty people. And when she bribed you with money, you went along with her plan. And that's why you did what you done. But don't worry, I already scared my wife to death. You should have saw it. The minute she saw me, she had a heart attack and died. She's already paid for what she's done. Now I'm on to you. You need to pay. And I'm going to continue to hunt you until you pay for what you've done. You're no doctor. You're a monster. Confess to what you've done to me, and I'll leave you alone. Yes, my wife did indeed do everything the man said. She didn't want this spirit to hunt her because it was frightening her, and so she confessed. Not only did my wife lose her medical license, but now she and the man's wife are in jail. Now you're probably wondering how I knew all of this was going down. Well, that man that my wife helped his wife to murder was my father. Yes, my wife helped someone kill my father. And I do believe his ghost came back and hunted my wife to make her confess to what she's done. I hope she rots and never sees the light of day again. Her and his wife.